laugh. All right. Derby City Wrestling. After a lackluster show last week, to put it kindly, they delivered in spades this week. This show ruled. We had JTG giving Josie some bling, and then Adam Revolver came up and he was appalled, and Ted McNailer had the temerity to blame me.
They couldn't figure out who bought her the bling, and he pointed at it and said, Chico brought you that.
That's right.
This is the best feud ever in which one guy has nothing to do.
And I refuse to confirm or deny whether I did, in fact, provide that bling to JTG. Timmy Baltimore, Twinkle Toes, Kenny Bolin open up the show. Kenny has now moved from a sweater to a button-up shirt, so things are moving back to normal.
He's still below his prior standards, but he's moving back up the chain.
Gavin Garrison, the professor of professional wrestling, against Brandon Kaplan. The professor missed something, and Kaplan hit a 450 for the pin. His shoulder was injured, and he'd wrestled with a shoulder thing on. Supposedly hurt doing a 450, but he still did it again for the finish, and that was that. And then Von Lilas beat up Kaplan and Electrico and sent them packing.
The best part of this was when Brandon Kaplan hit an acai moonsault to the professor, and Bolin went on a tirade, called him an idiot for trying to do this move with a hurt shoulder, and even if he had pulled it off, which he did, he still had to get the man back in the ring to pin him. It was foolish, and he went off and off and on and on and on. Then he started to calm down and realized he was a babyface and said, well, maybe I just wasn't thinking right. Maybe he needs more experience than a manager, but it was a bad move. And then he said, I'm not bad-mouthing him. And I wrote down, you called him an idiot.
Well,
you said, you're an idiot, were your exact words. That's bad-mouthing.
Calls a spade a spade. Sometimes someone does act like an idiot. You just need to call him that. Like you, for example. Say it every time.
Can't believe you just called Brandon Kaplan that.
Well, he was an idiot. He shouldn't have done that with a bad
shoulder. Not the word I meant.
What?
You know what the word spade can be used as?
Well, obviously that's not what I meant when I used an old cliche. You call a spade a spade.
You just happen to use that for Brandon Kaplan.
Yeah!
Okay.
I just happened to, in fact.
Coincidence.
Now that you've pointed it out, you're the racist.
I'm just the one who's more sensitive than you, Brian.
Nonsense.
I would have chosen a better term.
Nonsense.
Cancer's going to kick your ass.
No, he's not, because he knows that just happened to be what came out. Should I have said, call a clover a clover? Who the fuck says that?
I'm just saying you've never used that word as long as we've been doing the show, and then when Brandon Kaplan screws up, you whip it out.
Oh, I didn't say it exactly 2 minutes ago when I said this show, they made up for it in spades?
You didn't call anyone a spade. You didn't say calling a spade a spade. You called Brandon Kaplan a spade. I heard you. I was right here.
Vince. Where's my racist Vince drop here? There's got to be someone here. I'll find it before too long. How dare you accuse me of that, you fat man? Ben Amin came out, and he was celebrating the Islamic New Year, of which I'm sure Vince has some sort of racist statement to make about this.
Why?
He said he had recruited 2 new young men, James Thomas and Jason Static, 2 infidels, he said, yet very evil.
That was so awesome. He is aware that he is evil.
Yes.
And he wants evil men with him.
James Thomas and Jason Static and the men who appear to be Iraqis against the Alaskan Assassin and Rocky Styles and Ty Jackson and Steve Streetman. Boy, did you know this was going to be an elimination match, very one-sided. They beat all the men. Almost in the order of who had the least gear.
Pretty much, actually, yes. And each of the evil men, whether infidel or non-infidel, they all got to hit the finisher and pin a guy or submit him with a camel clutch. So this was a squash elimination match, one of the first I've ever seen.
And then afterwards, except those times at the Survivor Series, and then afterwards, Bolin had to begrudgingly say that, well, Bin Hameen proved his point. So, again, calling a spade a spade.
Oh, there you go.
Jesus. Los Locos came out and grabbed a mic, and let's see. Oh, Bolin grabbed the mic, and he said that since Beto did not pay his dues to Rip Rogers today, he had been suspended from ringside.
I love DCW.
I do love this show.
He was suspended for not paying his dues. And that's not a metaphor. It was time to pay his dues, and he didn't have any money.
Yes.
That's a suspension.
Then we had, he said Raul had bumped into Anthony Bravado last week, and touching Bravado had not been allowed, so he was suspended indefinitely. So we got Rudy Switchblade versus Anthony Bravado, and unfortunately, Rudy Switchblade got the heat on Bravado forever. Now, I understand that if you're going to learn how to sell, this is the place to do it. And I understand that the story was that Bravado had bad ribs, and thus Rudy Switchblade was working them over. But my God, should he not have sold as much as he did for this young man?
It did not look good. The big giant, the one who Bolin compared to the Incredible Hulk when he was selling for this tiny, skinny guy. It looked bad.
Yeah.
But then, fortunately, he made his comeback, and he started his comeback in a magnificent way, wherein Rudy grabbed him for a Russian leg sweep, and then Bravado just didn't go.
He just exploded.
He threw his arms in the air and went, "Rawr!" And Rudy Switchblade went flying. And this started the comeback full of slams and press slams, and he hit Beto's finisher at the end. I was sad when he did not do the time bomb, the 1-minute suplex, but he hit Beto's finisher, the press slam into a power slam. When Bolin explained that he was using Beto's finisher to beat Beto's partner, then it all made sense, and I was cool with it.
Then we had a Bolin signing a handicap match since he promised one earlier that fell through. It was Totally Awesome versus the Big Cat. This was how the last match should have been done. The Big Cat sold a little bit, but then absolutely killed these men and made them submit to a double full Nelson.
Yes.
So basically, not only did he tap them out, but he made one dude anally rape the other in the middle of it.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but I can't disagree with you. He did, in fact, put them front to back and squeeze them together. So, yes, he humbled them.
He did.
The reaction, Totally Awesome, was in the ring being Totally Awesome, and they heard they were going to have a handicap match. They were happy. And then, of course, they heard it was Big Cat, and they had the best disappointment ever. Suzio, I believe is his name, he just threw himself face down on the mat and was on the verge of tears. He knew he was doomed. I love Totally Awesome.
And then afterwards, Sergio ran out and gave both of Totally Awesome the sunset flip. And then as he was celebrating, the Kentucky Stud ran out and surprised him with a sunset flip of his own. So the feud between the sunset flippers continues.
The best feud ever.
It really is.
Who has the better sunset flip?
Then we had Karn Alexander, K-H-R-N. That's how you spell it. Karn. Korn Alexander. That should be his name since they're in Louisville. Korn Alexander against the Army of Two. Damian Adams. He could wear all yellow.
He could team with, what was Sweeney's partner? The Sharecropper.
Sharecropper and Korn Alexander. There's a team for you. They faced Damian Adams, Vance Desmond, and J.D. Santos, who, J.D. Santos, what happened here? He got the hot tag and he pinned Agent Williams. Santos looks like a indie version of Mike Knox. Not a good thing.
He's pretty generic. He had a wacky, I can't call it a headband. He had some sort of headwear on. All I can think was, that looks like, I think his name is the Amazing Jonathan. But he's the not very good Vegas magician who gets on TV sometimes. Looking like that guy is bad.
And then finally we had the Mobile Homers against JTG and the Soul Cat, who is Dre Blitz doing the Human Tornado gimmick. It is so much better than plain old Dre Blitz. I still have no idea where you get a purple suit in Louisville, Kentucky.
With bell bottoms.
With bell bottoms. So during this match, it was suggested that the reason Man Beast's girlfriend has been gone is that she joined the Mile High Club with me on the trip to, as Kenny Bolin said, Oregon.
That was the best part. The plane ride back to Oregon. The whole Northwest area is just one green blur to the folks of Louisville.
It's one big island. I've said this for years.
Yes, one big island.
I, again, cannot confirm or deny such accusations. They beat on the disco guy, and I actually was on the Derby City website during this match because I was trying to figure out who or how you spelled that one dude's name.
J.D. Santos.
I thought his name was...
you thought it was Jake DeSantos.
Jake DeSantos.
I thought he was Italian.
Yeah, and apparently it was J.D. Santos. But anyways, I was looking on there, I saw the Man Beast, what do they call it? The profile.
Sure.
And it announced that his finisher, Ted McNair's finisher, is called the Man Spear.
So you're saying he spears men?
He finishes men off with his Man Spear.
There you go.
Gross! If I'd known that, I wouldn't have gone.
Thank God you avoided that move.
It is. He tried to hit me with the Man Spear.
He tried to Man Spear you.
And he got super kicked for his troubles. That's what happens when you come after me with your Man Spear, everybody. So you just remember that. So anyway, JTG made the hot tag, ran wild. Nine Fingers Dewey gave the Soul Cat a chop block outside, and then the Homers hit a double-team Bulldog on JTG for the pin. So doesn't matter who you are, you're doing a job in Derby City.
Yes. The story here is very simple. Adam Revolver's afraid of JTG. JTG wants to fight, Revolver won't. So every time he was in and JTG tagged in, he ran away and tagged him in Naylor. He never got in the entire time until They took out Soul Cat, and this left them a 2-on-1 advantage, which meant Adam Revolver could jump him from behind. Then he laid him out and pinned him like a dick.
So as I said at the beginning of the show, after last week's disappointing episode, they came back here in spades.
There you go. That's a good work of bringing things full circle.